What's up, guys? It's your man KP67s bringing you another Imperial Academy video today. And today we're going to be covering an unsung hero for the Empire, the Snowtrooper today. So the Snowtrooper is an Imperial trooper as well as an attacker. Again, like the other troopers, prior to May of this year, 2017, he was not the best character, but now that he's received his rework back in May and, you gear him up, you work with him, you learn how he functions, he's really good. And we'll get into that. So when it comes to his stats, his strength is quite high compared to the agility and tactics. His health and protection are about 61,000 together. His speed isn't modded very high, I'll explain why. His critical damage is modded maximally. Again, that seems pretty straightforward for an attacker. His physical damage is, it's high. It's almost 3,500. I'd like to get it a little higher, but right now I'm pretty happy with where he's sitting. And his physical critical chance is sitting at about 51%, which is pretty stellar for him. Weakness here, he is an attacker, which means that his armor is not the best in the world. He's got about 29%, and that's after modding. So even though he's got a high health pool, it's not hard to rip that health off him. So that's something to keep in mind. So with respect to finding his shards, he can be found in multiple locations in this game. He can be found in the normal PvE shipments where you buy shards for crystals. He can be found in the guild store where you buy shards or gear for canteen for that guild currency. He does drop on occasion in the Military Might Assault Battle event. He also has a Cantina node, Battle 7B, and a light side hard node, 8C. You can see there that he has a Carbonti and a Hypo Syringe associated with him, so I would farm from that node if you don't have him up, because, everybody and their moms need like 5 or 6 of those pieces. So, yeah, definitely a worthwhile farm in this case. With respect to Snowtrooper's gears, he is a gear hog when it comes to stun cuffs, I'm sorry. He needs 8 of them, guys. 400 salvage, 8 stun cuffs. That's how many he needs to max out. And he needs 3 Carbontis. Not nearly as bad, but those stun cuffs are brutal, insane. So yeah, you're gonna need to farm Carbonti. You're gonna need to farm stun cuffs galore. Luckily, between the shard shop and the guild shop, if you have nothing else to farm from the guild store, if you already have Colonel Stark, for instance, right, and you already have all the other characters that are there, you can farm gear, from the guild store, and the shard shop is honestly your best friend when it comes to gearing. So those are 2 things to keep in mind. Okay, now going into his abilities here, his basic here is Assault Shock Troops. So here he deals physical damage to the target enemy with a 50% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn. It's nice, straightforward, you can inflict ability block. This is why I didn't mess with his potency very much, because it's a 50% chance. But, it's up to you to mod him for increased potency if you want to see if you can land that ability block a little bit more frequently. It doesn't sound like much, but Snowtrooper does not really need much to do because his basic is hard, and I'll get into why. His only special is Overwhelming Assault. So here, he deals physical damage to all enemies, and he gains critical damage up for 2 turns. For each critical hit he hits, he reduces the cooldown of this ability by 1. As you can see, his cooldown is 4. If he gets 3 cooldown, if he gets 3 critical hits, which is very possible in an arena situation or a mass mob situation, he can use this special again, and again, and again. He is like the Lando Calrissian of the Empire, only substantially better, because his damage doesn't need to ramp up because he hits like a truck on his basic and his special. The trick there is running him with Veers and Colonel Stark. If you get Colonel Stark's buffs up, and if you've already killed somebody, now Snowtrooper has offense up, critical chance up, and critical damage up. So I've seen his basic hit for about 40k, and I've seen his special hit for about 24 to 25k, as high as 30k in some cases, depending on how weak the opponent is. But Average 24 to 25k on an AoE. I'll leave it at that. And finally here we have Assault Training. So Snowtrooper gains 30% turn meter whenever any unit is defeated, and other Empire allies gain half that amount. And then while Snowtrooper is active, all Imperial troopers gain plus 20 critical damage. So this is why I didn't mod him for speed, because again, if you're running him under Veers, a Zeta Veers, if you kill somebody, he gains 50% turn meter, right? 50% turn meter right away, and then he gains an extra 30% turn meter right away as well. He basically gets to go, assuming if RNG wasn't like mixing a whole bunch of people together, if they're all at full TM, theoretically, if no one else was gaining turn meter, Snowtrooper would be going back to back to back to back to back a ton of times, just by how much turn meter he gains in one go. And that's why he really doesn't have to be fast, because even if you use him in the tank, you can take out a turret very quickly with the Imperial Troopers, which means that Snowtrooper can go very, very frequently. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind, guys. With respect to his mods, as you can see here, it's pretty straightforward. Critical chance and critical damage. Emphasis on critical damage. Here, the triangle is not speed, it is offense with a little bit of speed on top. And the triangle here, obviously critical damage. I added extra offense on the cross, and finally, the usual protection. With respect to the secondaries that you want, that he has, because speed is not really a big deal for the Snowtrooper, you really don't need a speed secondary, honestly. Like, I have a couple speed secondaries here and there peppered in there, but honestly, you want his critical chance up and you want his offense up. As two secondaries you need to gun for. And then finally, to increase his survivability, I would suggest a little bit extra defense, a little bit extra protection. If you can get, but of the 4 slots that you see, I would call a good mod being offense, critical chance, and protection. If you have those 3, that's pretty solid. Maybe you can make it defense, maybe you can make it potency for the 4th one. 4th one really doesn't matter at that point. So with respect to Snowtrooper's uses, guys, Snowtrooper used to be, you just never used him. But now, since the rework and since the expansion of the Imperial Troopers, he is very viable in the heroic tank raid. He is actually your #1 damage dealer when it comes to the tank, because he just hits like so hard whenever he hits those turrets or the hull or a B2. The same thing applies to PvE. He is extremely good at clearing out the Galactic War right now, even previously when it wasn't nerfed, so both pre and post nerf, he's amazing for Galactic War. And then I've even seen Snowtrooper make a little bit of a surge into Arena with the Imperial Troopers under Stark and Veers. Thrawn leads Stark, Veers, I've seen Shore Trooper and Snowtrooper, and it just clears house, guys. Snowtrooper definitely became a beast in this game. For a kit that's not exactly the most complicated, it's a very, very straightforward kit. He's very effective with it. So besides so really, honestly, the worst thing is just the gear. 8 stun cuffs, that's a ton of stun cuffs. So if you're going to gun for Snowtrooper, you better be ready for the long haul, and you better be willing to be like, yes, this is a great investment for me. But yeah, guys, that's it. That's my take on the Snowtrooper. Excellent character, definitely, especially when mixed in with the Imperial Troopers. If you like the video, please go ahead, leave a like, share the video, and subscribe for more. I put these out semi-frequently, depending on when I get a little bit of downtime. And I'll just keep them rolling out, guys. All right, have a good night.